Have you ever wondered why, despite our advances in technology and knowledge, society still shies away from true wisdom? Today, we dive into a profound exploration of why intelligence, especially the kind that challenges and transforms, is often met with resistance rather than reverence. In a world that praises superficiality, the truly wise are not only overlooked, but actively pushed aside. Why is this the case? From the biological reactions of our brains to the unsettling truths unveiled by deep thinkers, we uncover the layers of fear and misunderstanding that keep society clinging to comfort. These unseen barriers to intelligence are not just social constructs, but are woven into the very fabric of our psychological makeup. We will explore how the intellectual isolation of the wise is not a personal choice but a societal consequence, and how our cognitive biases confirm rather than challenge our preconceptions. As we peel back these layers, you might find yourself questioning the very foundations upon which your perceptions are built. This is not just a journey into the society's psyche, but a call to awaken to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe. If you're ready to explore these hidden truths, make sure you're subscribed and follow along, because what we're about to reveal could change not only how you think, but how you engage with the world around you. In a world driven by comfort and conformity, the profound intelligence of a few becomes a mirror, reflecting the unsettling truths most prefer to ignore. Schopenhauer, a luminary in the realm of philosophical pessimism, observed that society often opts for convenient ignorance over the demanding nature of true intellect. This preference isn't just incidental, it's a deeply ingrained aspect of human social fabric. Intelligent individuals do not seek validation from their peers, but rather strive for a deeper understanding of reality. This quest sets them apart, as it inherently challenges the status quo. It's not merely about having different opinions, it's about seeing through the illusions that many live by. Thinkers and visionaries dive into the depths of knowledge and truth, unafraid of the darkness they might uncover. This can be unsettling for those who find solace in the superficial layers of existence. Such profound intelligence disrupts the comforting illusions under which most of society operates. When one person in the room starts questioning the foundation of widely accepted beliefs, it forces others into a confrontation they may not be ready for. This isn't just a social faux pas, it's a fundamental challenge to the collective consensus on what is known and understood, the refusal to align with conventional thoughts, and the courage to explore the unknown often isolate the intelligent. It's not an intentional separation, but a natural consequence of their quest. They are not merely thinkers, they are revealers of hidden truths and debunkers of widely accepted myths. This role, albeit crucial for societal evolution, comes at the personal cost of social alienation. Moreover, their journey is often a solitary one, not because they desire solitude, but because the depth of their contemplation rarely finds companionship in ordinary discourse. Their dialogue is with ideas, with the mysteries of the universe, and with the unexplored territories of the mind. They engage in a dance with complexity that few can follow, leading to a path that is inherently lonely, but profoundly significant in its potential to unveil new realms of understanding and insight. This narrative of isolation and misunderstanding isn't just a plight, but a poignant reminder of the price paid for true intellectual freedom. It's a path few choose, but one that holds the key to transforming not just individual lives, but the very foundations of thought and society. Intellectuals do not distance themselves out of arrogance. Rather, they find themselves isolated because of the profound exhaustion that comes from being perpetually misunderstood. This is not a deliberate choice, but a weary resignation to the realities of their social interactions. Their pursuit of depth and meaning often leaves them on the fringes of social circles that prioritize entertainment and distraction over substantial dialogue. The environment that celebrates the trivial and mundane acts as a deterrent to those who seek to delve deeper. As society lauds those who conform, it simultaneously marginalizes those who question and challenge the norm. This is not merely a social dilemma, but a reflection of a broader cultural aversion to discomfort and introspection. Intellectuals often find themselves speaking a different language, a language of ideas and possibilities that goes unnoticed or even unwanted in everyday conversations. Moreover, the nature of their intellect does not allow them to indulge in shallow exchanges without feeling a sense of despair. For them, every Conversation is an opportunity to learn, to explore and to dissect. However, when the social milieu is content with surface-level engagements, these opportunities are squandered, leaving intellectuals to retreat into their inner worlds. It is here, in the solitude of their thoughts, that they find solace and a respite from the intellectual desolation of their external environments. This retreat is not without its repercussions. The more they withdraw, the greater the gap becomes between them, and the society that fails to understand or appreciate their depth. This chasm is not just of ideas, but of basic understanding and respect. It is a vicious cycle where misunderstanding breeds isolation, and isolation deepens the misunderstanding, creating barriers that are difficult to dismantle. However, it's crucial to recognize that this isolation can also be a fertile ground for creativity and innovation. When freed from the constraints of conventional acceptance, intellectuals can forge new theories, create new art, and hypothesize new realms of thought. They turn their isolation into a workshop of possibilities, where the seeds of their next big ideas are sown and nurtured away from the prying eyes of judgment and conformity. Thus, while the intellectual's path is fraught with solitude, it is also marked by the luminous footprints of progress and revelation. They become the architects of new paradigms and the pioneers of thought who, despite their distance from the crowd, lead humanity towards uncharted territories of knowledge and understanding. The presence of a highly intelligent individual often acts as a stark mirror, reflecting the limitations and mediocrity that others might wish to remain hidden. This reflection is not always met with gratitude or humility. More often it incites discomfort and resistance. When someone shines a light on the truths that others shy away from, it disrupts the comfortable ignorance in which they have cocooned themselves. This confrontation with reality is not merely an intellectual challenge. It is a profound existential threat to the self-image of those around them. The brilliance of an intellectual does not just illuminate their own path, it inadvertently highlights the shadows in which others dwell. This can lead to a spectrum of responses, from denial and avoidance to outright hostility. The intelligent are frequently met not with admiration, but with a kind of social ostracism designed to protect the status quo. In both social and professional environments, there is often an unspoken rule to maintain harmony at the expense of truth. Intellectuals, with their relentless pursuit of knowledge and their refusal to accept convenient lies, disrupt this fragile balance. Their insights demand reconsideration of accepted norms and beliefs, forcing a collective introspection that many are unprepared for or resistant to. This resistance is not just a knee-jerk reaction, it's a defense mechanism. The presence of someone who questions deeply and thinks critically can be unsettling, as it challenges individuals to evaluate their own understanding and the foundations upon which they have built their lives. Rather than engage with these challenging ideas, it is sometimes easier to dismiss or marginalize the source of discomfort. However, this dynamic can serve as a catalyst for growth, both for the individual and for society. When the intellectual's reflections prompt a re-evaluation of long-held beliefs, it can lead to a broader and more profound understanding of the world. This process, though painful, is essential for any significant progress. It is through the challenging of old ideas that new ones can emerge, reshaping how we perceive and interact with our environment. Ultimately, the role of the intellectual is not just to provide answers, but to ask the right questions. Their ability to reflect the world's complexities back at us is not just a challenge, it's an invitation to explore, to rethink, and to grow. It is a role fraught with difficulty and often loneliness, but one that is indispensable to the advancement of human thought and society. In the grand theater of social interactions, charisma often takes center stage, overshadowing the quiet, substantial virtue of wisdom. The crowd is drawn to the warmth of a smile and the comfort of familiar words, rarely pausing to question the depth behind them. This societal preference for emotional comfort over intellectual challenge shapes our leaders and our cultural icons. Popular figures thrive on affirmation, not provocation. They echo the sentiments of their audiences, reinforcing pre-existing beliefs rather than challenging them with new ideas. This approach ensures popularity, but at the cost of stagnation in thought and innovation. It is a dance of mutual assurance, where the steps are known and the music never changes. Schopenhauer's insights resonate deeply here. He recognized that true wisdom often goes unrecognized because it does not seek to please. It seeks to enlighten, to challenge, and to transform. This can be uncomfortable, and discomfort is something our societal constructs often work diligently to avoid. The bearers of wisdom are thus frequently sidelined, their voices drowned out by the louder, more pleasing sounds of charismatic leaders who tell us what we want to hear, not what we need to know. This dynamic is detrimental not only to the development of society, but also to the intellectual growth of individuals. When charisma is valued over wisdom, surface-level engagement becomes the norm. This norm stifles critical thinking and discourages the questioning of established narratives. As a result, transformative ideas struggle to gain traction, waiting on the sidelines until society is ready to embrace them without feeling threatened. However, the acceptance of disruptive ideas is crucial for progress. History shows us that breakthroughs in science, art, and thought often occur when challenging concepts finally penetrate the public consciousness. This usually happens not through the charismatic echoing of popular opinion, but through the persistent, often solitary efforts of thinkers who dare to push boundaries. The true value of wisdom lies not in its immediate acceptance, but in its enduring impact. While charisma may win the day, it is wisdom that wins the future. It is the deep-rooted trees that withstand storms and provide shelter, not the decorative flowers that wither away with the seasons. As a society, recognizing and valuing this wisdom over charisma is essential for long-term growth and true understanding. At the core of human psychology lies a primal, often subconscious fear of what is perceived as superior or unknown. Neuroscience reveals that our brains, specifically areas like the amygdala, which govern fear responses, can become activated when faced with someone who displays superior intellectual abilities. This biological reaction is not just a trivial reflex, it's a deeply embedded protective mechanism designed to safeguard one's sense of self and identity. This fear of intellectual superiority is not merely an emotional inconvenience, it represents a fundamental challenge to our self-concept and our place in the social hierarchy. When confronted with intelligence that surpasses our own, the instinctive response can be one of resistance rather than admiration. This resistance is not just about envy or competition, it's about preserving the integrity of one's self-image in the face of potential inferiority. The implications of this biological response are profound in social interactions. It means that our brains are wired to prefer conformity and comfort over the challenge of intellectual growth. This preference can lead to a societal aversion to deep intellectual engagement, favoring instead interactions that reinforce existing beliefs and social orders. It's a survival mechanism, one that favors the familiar and undemanding over the potentially unsettling implications of advanced intellectual discourse. However, understanding this biological predisposition can empower us to transcend it. Recognizing that our discomfort with superior intelligence is partly biological can help us approach such interactions with more awareness and less defensiveness. This awareness is the first step towards intellectual humility, a recognition that feeling threatened by someone's intellect is a natural reaction, but one that we are not bound to obey. By consciously choosing to engage with, rather than shy away from challenging ideas and individuals, we can begin to dismantle the barriers that our biological instincts erect. This engagement does not just enrich our individual intellectual lives, it also fosters a more open, dynamic, and progressive society. In such a society, intelligence is not seen as a threat, but as a valuable resource, one that drives collective advancement and deeper understanding of the complex world we inhabit. Thus, the journey towards embracing intelligence is not just an intellectual challenge, it's a biological one. It requires us to confront and manage our innate responses for the sake of personal and societal growth. The path is not easy, but it is undoubtedly rewarding, leading to a richer, more nuanced engagement with the world and with the universe of ideas that shape our reality. Within the microcosms of social groups, the presence of a highly intelligent individual often disrupts the delicate balance of collective self-esteem. Group dynamics, inherently designed to maintain equilibrium and avoid conflict, are particularly vulnerable to the insights and critiques that intellectuals bring to the table. In these settings, intelligence not only challenges individual beliefs but also the cohesion of the group identity. No one wants to appear inferior, and in group settings, this often leads to the intelligent being ridiculed or ignored. Their contributions, though insightful, can be met with sarcasm or overt hostility, while more agreeable but less substantive comments receive approval and reinforcement. This dynamic is not merely about protecting individual egos, it's about preserving the group's collective sense of competence and understanding. The exclusion of intellectuals from these groups is a protective mechanism, one that maintains the status quo and avoids the discomfort of deep self-examination. However, this mechanism, while stabilizing, also stifles growth and innovation. The group loses out on the opportunity to expand its collective wisdom and instead remains confined to a comfortable but limiting consensus. This rejection is not just socially driven, it's also a manifestation of underlying cognitive biases. The group tends to favor information that confirms its pre-existing beliefs, a phenomenon known as confirmation bias. This bias reinforces the group's worldview, making the acceptance of new, challenging ideas even more difficult. The result is a self-reinforcing loop of intellectual conformity that resists disruption. However, the exclusion of the intelligent can be counterproductive. While it may provide short-term comfort, it ultimately deprives the group of the benefits that diverse perspectives and critical thinking bring. Embracing the intellectual, despite the initial discomfort it may cause, can lead to a more robust and adaptable group dynamic. It encourages a culture of questioning and exploration, which are essential for true progress and understanding. To transcend these dynamics, groups must cultivate an environment where intellectual contributions are valued and explored rather than dismissed. This requires a shift from a mindset of competition to one of collaboration, where the intelligence of one is seen as a resource for all. Such a shift not only benefits the group, but also contributes to a more enlightened and capable society. Cognitive biases play a pivotal role in how individuals and societies process information. These biases, which are inherent flaws in human reasoning, tend to reinforce existing beliefs rather than accommodate new, potentially unsettling truths. One prominent example is the Dunning-Kruger effect, where individuals with limited knowledge overestimate their understanding, while those with extensive knowledge often underestimate their expertise. This discrepancy creates a landscape where ignorance is blissfully sustained by overconfidence, and wisdom is plagued by self-doubt. This resistance to truth is not just an intellectual shortfall, it represents a significant barrier to progress. The human brain is wired to seek consistency and avoid cognitive dissonance. The mental discomfort experienced when confronted with contradictory information. Thus, rather than embracing new ideas that could lead to a better understanding of the world, many cling to outdated or erroneous beliefs because they are more comfortable and less threatening. The digital age, particularly the realm of social media, exacerbates this issue. Online platforms are designed to maximize engagement, often at the expense of depth and accuracy. Algorithms prioritize content that confirms users' pre-existing views, creating echo chambers that further entrench cognitive biases. This digital feedback loop amplifies misinformation and reduces the likelihood of encountering or accepting challenging perspectives. However, understanding and acknowledging these biases can be the first step toward overcoming them. By recognizing our brain's tendency to resist the new and unfamiliar, we can consciously strive to be more open-minded and critical of the information we consume. This requires a deliberate effort to seek out diverse sources and viewpoints, question our assumptions, and engage in thoughtful dialogue with others, especially those who disagree with us. Moreover, fostering an educational and cultural environment that values critical thinking and intellectual humility can help mitigate the effects of cognitive biases. By teaching individuals to question their beliefs and consider multiple perspectives, society can cultivate a more informed and open-minded citizenry. This shift is essential for addressing the complex, multifaceted challenges of the modern world, where simplistic answers are often insufficient and sometimes dangerous. In conclusion, While cognitive biases are a fundamental part of human nature, they need not dictate our intellectual lives. By understanding these biases and actively working to counteract them, we can create a more thoughtful, perceptive, and enlightened society. Intellectual loneliness is often the companion of those who seek deeper understanding and truth. It's not merely about being alone, it's about feeling disconnected from those who do not share or understand your quest for knowledge. However, this solitude doesn't have to be a burden. It can be transformed into a powerful asset, a sanctuary where the mind can explore and innovate without restraint. Firstly, finding like-minded individuals or communities can significantly mitigate feelings of isolation, whether it's joining book clubs, online forums, or engaging in creative projects. Connecting with others who share your intellectual passions can provide a sense of belonging and mutual understanding. These niches not only offer support, but also challenge and invigorate your intellectual pursuits. Moreover, translating complex ideas into more accessible language can broaden the impact of your thoughts. Great communicators like Carl Sagan and Richard Feynman excelled in this, turning intricate scientific concepts into engaging narratives that captivated the public. By simplifying complexity without diluting its essence, intellectuals can bridge the gap between esoteric knowledge and mainstream understanding, making their insights more palatable and appealing to a wider audience. Choosing your battles wisely is also crucial. Not every discussion will be fruitful, and recognizing when to engage and when to withdraw can preserve your mental energy and focus for more receptive audiences. This strategic approach ensures that your intellectual efforts are not wasted, but instead directed towards situations where they can make a meaningful difference. Finally, leveraging digital platforms to share your ideas can amplify your reach and influence. In an age where information is ubiquitous, creating content that challenges conventional wisdom can attract a global audience hungry for substantial and thought-provoking material. This not only combats intellectual isolation, but also positions your insights at the forefront of global discourse. By embracing these strategies, intellectuals can transform their solitude from a state of isolation to one of empowerment. It's about turning the inward journey of intellectual pursuit into outward expressions that resonate and inspire. This not only enriches the individual's life, but also contributes significantly to the collective wisdom of society. As we conclude our journey through the challenges and isolation faced by the intellectually profound, we invite you to reflect on your own experiences and perspectives. Have you ever felt misunderstood or sidelined because of your ideas? Share your stories in the comments below and join a community that values deep, transformative insights. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more content that dives deep into the realms of knowledge and understanding. Your engagement helps us bring more enlightening discussions to this platform. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey at Celestial Truths. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep expanding your universe.